Well, hello, Michael here. Looking today at Psalms 34, specifically verse 1 to 3 for the exposition. Let's go ahead and read those three verses then of this psalm, which is subtitled, Taste and See that the Lord is Good. Verse 1. I will bless the Lord at all times. His praise shall continually be in my mouth. My soul makes its boast in the Lord. Let the humble hear and be glad. And verse 3. Oh, magnify the Lord with me, and let us exalt his name together. And we'll look to the treasure of David for the exposition. Verse 1. I will bless the Lord at all times. He is resolved and fixed. I will. He's personally and for himself determined. Let others so as they may. He is intelligent in head and inflamed in heart. He knows to whom the praise is due, and what is due, and for what and when. To Jehovah and not to second causes our gratitude is to be rendered. The Lord hath by right a monopoly in his creatures' praise. Even when a mercy may remind us of our sin with regard to it, as in this case David's deliverance from the Philistines' monarch was sure to do, we are not to rob God of his meed of honor, because our conscience justly awards a censure to our share in the transaction. Though the hook was rusty, yet God sent the fish, and we thank him for it. At all times, in every situation, under every circumstance, before and in, after trials, in brighter days of glee, and dark nights of fear, he would never have done praising, because never satisfied that he had done enough, always feeling that he fell short of the Lord's deservings. Happy is he whose fingers are wedded to his harp. He who praises God for mercies shall never want a mercy for which to praise. To bless the Lord is never unseasonable. His praise shall continually be in my mouth, not in my heart merely, but in my mouth too. Our thankfulness is not to be a dumb thing. It should be one of the daughter of music. Our tongue is our glory, and it ought to reveal the glory of God. What a blessed mouthful is God's praise! How sweet, how purifying, how perfuming! If men's mouth were always thus filled, there would be no repining against God or slander of neighbors. If we continually rolled this dainty morsel under our tongue, the bitterness of daily affliction would be swallowed up in joy. God deserves blessings with the heart and extolling with the mouth, good thoughts in the closet and good words in the world. Verse 2. My soul shall make her boast in the Lord. Boasting is a very natural propensity, and if it were used, as in this case, the more it were indulged, the better. The exaltation of this verse is no mere tongue bragging. The soul is in it. The boasting is meant and felt before it is expressed. What scope there is for holy boasting in Jehovah! His person, attributes, covenant, promises, works, and 1,000 things besides are all incomparable, unparalleled, matchless. We may cry them up as we please, but we shall never be convicted of vain and empty speech in so doing. Truly he who writes these words of comment has nothing of his own to boast of, but much to lament over, and yet none shall stop him of his boast in God so long as he lives. The humble shall hear thereof and be glad. They are usually grieved to hear boastings. They turn aside from vauntings and lofty speeches, but boasting in the Lord is quite another matter. By this the most lowly are consoled and encouraged. The confident expression of tried believers are a rich solace to their brethren of less experience. We ought to talk of the Lord's goodness on purpose that others may be confirmed in their trust in a faithful God. Verse 3. O magnify the Lord with me, In this request addressed to the humble, if so, it is most fitting. Who can make God great but those who feel themselves to be little? He bids them help him to make the Lord's fame greater among the sons of men. Jehovah is infinite and therefore cannot really be made greater, but his name grows in manifested glory as he is made known to his creatures, and thus he is said to be magnified. It is well when the soul feels its own inability adequately to glorify the Lord, and therefore stirs up others to the gracious work. This is good both for the man himself and for his companions. No praise can excel that which lays us prostrate under a sense of our own nothingness, while divine grace, like some topless Alp, rises before our eyes and sinks us lower and lower in holy awe. Let us exalt his name together. Social, congregated worship is the outgrowth of one of the natural instincts of the new life. In heaven it is enjoyed to the full, and earth is like heaven where it abounds. Indeed. Trust you enjoy the meditation. Michael here declaring then, yet again, Jesus is Lord. Until next time, be blessed.